What if the limits you believe you have are not real? What if the difference between ordinary performance and extraordinary achievement is not talent, luck, or intelligence, but a specific type of practice that anyone can learn? And what if greatness is not reserved for the chosen few, but available to anyone willing to follow the right training method? This is the astonishing idea at the heart of Peak by Anders Ericsson and Robert Pool. Based on decades of scientific research, Ericsson demonstrates that excellence is not born, it is built. Talent is not destiny, it is a starting point. And the extraordinary abilities we admire in experts across every field, from musicians to athletes to chess grandmasters to memory champions, are the predictable result of deliberate practice and the power of adaptability in the human brain. Peak begins with a revolutionary concept called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change, grow, and rewire itself in response to training. Ericsson explains that the brain is far more flexible than we once believed. Skills, intelligence, and even physical performance can be transformed through structured and intentional practice. Expertise is not a genetic gift. It is a biological adaptation created by pushing beyond the edge of our abilities. Every time we stretch ourselves, new neural pathways form. Every time we repeat a skill with focus and correction, performance improves. Improvement is not magic, it is science. At the center of Peak is the idea of deliberate practice, the same principle Matthew Syed explores in Bounce, but here analyzed through rigorous scientific detail. Deliberate practice is different from ordinary practice. It is not repeating what you already know how to do. It is not mindlessly performing a task. Deliberate practice is systematic, targeted training designed specifically to push performance just beyond your current capability. It requires intense concentration, immediate feedback, and continuous adjustment. It is demanding, exhausting, mentally challenging, and at times uncomfortable, but it is the only path to mastery. Ericsson shares fascinating examples from diverse fields to prove that greatness is trained, not gifted. He explains how memory champions do not have superior brains. They use specific techniques developed through deliberate practice, such as the memory palace method, transforming meaningless sequences into vivid mental images. With practice, they push capacity from a few items to hundreds or thousands. Nothing magical, just structured training. In music, Ericsson describes the work behind elite violinists. The top performers are not born prodigies. They simply engage in far more deliberate, practice-focused sessions targeting weaknesses. The best violinists practice intentionally for up to 10,000 hours by age 20, while average performers practice far less and without deliberate intensity. Excellence correlates directly with quality practice, not talent, not luck, work. In sports, he reveals stories like that of Roger Bannister, the first athlete to break the 4-minute mile, once believed physically impossible. After he broke the barrier, dozens of athletes achieved it soon after. What changed? Human bodies did not evolve overnight. Belief did, strategy did, training improved. Obstacles were psychological, not physical. Peak also exposes the myth of the prodigy. Mozart, often cited as the symbol of natural-born genius, was trained relentlessly from age 3 by a highly experienced musician father. His early works were not original masterpieces, they were copies and reworks. The genius we admire was crafted through years of structured practice. Tiger Woods, Serena, and Venus Williams, chess grandmasters Ericsson, reveals patterns behind their stories. Early start, intense feedback, relentless training, and guided instruction. Talent is not an explanation. It is an excuse people use to avoid trying. Another major concept is purposeful practice, a stepping stone to deliberate practice. Purposeful practice involves leaving comfort, setting specific goals, and dealing with failures as part of the learning process. It transforms frustration into feedback. When we encounter difficulty, the average person stops, believing they reach their limit. Experts push through until the problem becomes the new normal. Improvement happens right beyond the point where others quit. Ericsson also highlights the crucial role of feedback. You cannot improve what you cannot evaluate. That is why coaches, mentors, and trainers are essential. They see what you cannot. They design training systems. They accelerate progress by eliminating wasted effort. Practicing alone is not enough. Many people repeat the same mistakes for years because no feedback corrects them. Peak also addresses motivation. Deliberate practice is demanding, and without meaning, most people give up. Motivation must come from passion, purpose, and vision. Elite performers are not born disciplined. They develop discipline through commitment and identity. They love improvement more than comfort. Another key point Ericsson makes is that the plateau is not permanent. Most people reach an acceptable level in a skill like driving, typing, playing an instrument, or performing a job, and then stop improving. They operate on autopilot. That is why experience alone does not guarantee expertise. 10 years of repeating comfortable performance does not equal 10 years of getting better. Improvement requires discomfort. Growth requires challenge. Peak also emphasizes that systems beat inspiration. Experts do not rely on motivation. They rely on structure. If your training depends on mood, results will be random. If your training depends on system, results will be consistent. Excellence is built through routine, repetition, and continual refinement. One of the most empowering lessons in the book is this: your potential is far greater than you believe. Ericsson explains that most people never discover their real limits because they stop long before reaching them. The brain and body continue to adapt, improve, and strengthen far beyond what we assume. Limits are psychological. The human system is designed to grow through stress. Just as muscles require resistance to grow stronger, skill requires challenge. The book also debunks the myth of genius. Einstein himself said he was not exceptionally gifted. He simply stayed with problems longer. Persistence beats brilliance. Effort beats natural ability. Consistency beats inspiration. The path to greatness is paved with ordinary days, repeated with extraordinary commitment. Another powerful insight is that the methods of deliberate practice can be applied to anything. Leadership, communication, creativity, entrepreneurship, writing, surgery, negotiation, and even emotional regulation. Expertise is not confined to sports or music. Any skill can be mastered. Excellence is systematic, universal, and accessible. Peak calls us to a new belief. Stop asking whether you have talent. Start asking how you will train. Genius is not a gift. Genius is a process. The question is not, what can I do today? It is, how far can I go if I commit to practice with intention, feedback, and resilience? The big takeaway from Peak is simple but life-changing. Extraordinary ability is possible for anyone willing to work deliberately. You are not fixed. You are not limited. You are always capable of growth. Every expert started as a beginner. Every master built themselves. Potential is not discovered. It is created. So what resonates with you most from Peak? The idea that practice shapes the brain? The power of deliberate practice? The myth of talent? Or the understanding that mastery is available to everyone? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this summary, like this video, subscribe to 10-Minute Books, and tap the bell so you never miss our weekly deep dives into life-changing books. Remember, greatness is not something you have. It is something you grow, and the journey begins the moment you decide to train deliberately.